Just check out the smile on those faces. Their first ever harvest after decades with this farm. Yes, it's just a simple lettuce, but it's the start of a long story. This is where they've planted the orchards around where they're building the house. And we've gone ahead and we've put some service plants. We made those service plants vegetable crops, leafage, and here we can see that was a star fruit there. Here is a citrus. You see how dry it is around it. And we've created this little oasis where they can come in and have that quick initial harvest. Why not? They do have a 2-hectare organized system, but this is the orchard around the house. Let's go check out the 2-hectare system now.
Forget about sustainability. You want to enrich ecosystems.
Every bean is equipped to leave a positive, energetic balance.
Keep it pruned.
We are cultivating abundance.
Not a problem to cut down trees. The problem is not planting them.
Yes, what's up Agroforestry Academy crew, how are you? Yeah, today we're going to be catching up here on the system in Bruno's house. We've got another video. Here's the car, check it out, the first video if you haven't seen it. When we first started here preparing the soils and planting the very first seedlings. We're now 30 days down the line and whoa, great results as you would expect, obviously. So yeah, well, just before we go into this, if you like the content, if you want to keep us producing, the best way you can keep us bringing you free videos, is to like the content, press the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know every time we got new updates on these systems. All right, so give us a hand on that, because then the algorithms, they will help us appear to other people who might need to be reaching this kind of content. So that's the best way you can support us. All right, let's have a look at here how it's going down. All right, so if you remember what happened here, we say it's a 2-hectare system, and with very with limited funds, and we really wanted to cover a lot of area. So we've done just prepared the manure locally on each seedling bed. So these were seedling, the holes for the seedlings were made and they were manured properly, but we didn't manure the whole tree row, the whole tree bed, just locally, and we've been working with local kind of like mini ecosystem. So as you can see, we've created this mini ecosystem to look after each seedling that we have. As in this place here, it's the coffee seedling. Look how it's vigorous green with new shoots and no irrigation. This is the point, we're able to do it with no irrigation because we looked after our seedlings with so much care. There has been some days, it is the rainy season, but in the middle of the rainy season we get 10-15 days with no rain, and because it's summer, it's like supposed to be summer with a lot of rain and a lot of heat, but when it doesn't rain, and the clouds don't ease up, and today is a nice day, you got a lot of sun, it's very aggressive, coffees do not like it, they do tend to abort. All right, so this is what we've got here. We've got our tomatoes already looking great. It's all service plants, it's all service plants. The tomatoes here is a service plant, everyone's occupying its strata. We've got the corn, all right, looking great, and we've got the pigeon peas, which will eventually substitute the corn. All right, after the 70-90 days of the corn, the pigeon peas will be up there, giving it that to high strata, the emergent strata. These tomatoes will be here in the middle, low strata. We've got here jack beans. Yeah, the jack beans here got to be here as well. So they've really done a great job, because sometimes you explain to people what you need and you come back and it's been things haven't worked out. But look at these jack beans. But these guys have done a great job. I'm really satisfied with coming back and how important it is not to just use one service plant, because if we use just jack beans or just pigeon peas or just the corn or just the tomato, they occupy different spacing throughout time. So right now there is someone who's looking after everyone else, which is the corn, but he will go. So we do depend on who's next, so the corn is looking after the pigeon peas, the jack beans looking after the tomatoes, which the tomatoes are also looking after, you know, our seedlings. So here is a so what they've done is a very, very large system, and you know, we've planted things as we go. So you know, we planted all of the coffees, and then we planted all of the bananas, and just recently, you know, about 4 or 5 days ago, we actually put down all of the papayas, right? So we've planted these papayas in. They weren't planted by seed, and we've got some very good price on the seedling, and it just guarantees once we're systematically planting things, it's nice to plant them by seedling as well, even though we prefer the results when they come by seed, right? You know, they come ill-free when it's by seed. A lot of time we get the seedlings, and it already comes from the greenhouse with that disease. You know, in the greenhouse it's okay because they're spraying things in that, but you know, when we get out here, it's organic. You really need for it to be self-sustained. But you know, we varied. We went for every other papaya with 2 different varieties, and yeah, okay, let's see how it works out. But you can see already, so we've got triple jack beans. Well, it's supposed to be triple. I'm only seeing 2 over here, so they might have missed that. So they've got 2 jack beans, they've got the 2 corns, 1 on each side, so we've got a nice, you know, square form. And then from the center we've got the pigeon peas popping up, and the tomato there. Yeah, it's looking a little bit weak there, but you know, it might rain soon, and it will recover. So you know, obviously here and there you get better results, and it depends as well if you're planting, you know, and is it raining on the day, is it going to rain, is it not going to rain. So as you can see here, when we planted the coffees, and then you know, like a week or so later we planted the banana, so we've got things at different stage here. So we've got this corn here looking like that, and then we've got, you know, so it is varying a little bit. Obviously everything to be uniform would be ideal, but you know, we're doing everything here 2 hectares, and there's 2 men working here. There's 2 men only in the labor workforce. So I mean, we will find things, you know, varying. For the harvest is great. You know, what are you going to do with so much corn? You know, obviously if you've got a system to consume this corn, if you've got the market, or if you've got the chickens, or even if you do got the market and chickens, it's nice to have things scaling up. Like, you know, you can have a harvest today, and next month you can harvest again, and the next month you can harvest again. Because not necessarily, if you haven't got the market for 2 hectares of tomatoes, you'd rather have it, you know, scaling, like, you know, every couple of weeks, you know, new plants, you know, so you can actually harvest for longer, and you know, have less waste. So there's some very beautiful corn, and then you know, couple of weeks later there's going to be some next corn on the bananas, and then even a couple of weeks after that you're going to get the corns from the papayas. So we've got like a 3-stage corn harvest, tomato harvest. All right, and look at the jack beans, they're looking beautiful, doing a real good job. You know, can you spot the coffee? Look at it, let's get in there. The coffee, it's where it belongs, underneath. It's the low strata. It's where it belongs, in the shade. All right, if we've got examples here where, because we went for about 15 days no rain, all right, in the middle, just like I said, it could happen, it did happen. So let's go over here and see, because obviously they've been planting this, and maybe he didn't get around to, you know, planting the next plot with the same attention, I mean in the same kind of day. So when he planted, you know, the coffees down here, it wasn't raining on that time, or it rained on the day, otherwise he wouldn't have planted, but then the rain stopped. So you can see things suffered, and you can see the coffee there, it suffered. All right, it suffered. See, so that's the result when you don't have the stuff over it. Okay, so 1 or 2 things happen here. Either he planted the coffee and then didn't plant the beans and the tomatoes and etc. Right away to give that initial information, but that's not the case. What actually happened here is that he planted it. Obviously it was raining on the day, otherwise he wouldn't have planted it, but very quickly it stopped raining. Obviously we count on the forecast, but we can't be waiting around for too long. The seedlings come in, there's other things to plant, so it suffered. So this is it. This is the coffee in the sun, and you've seen the coffee in the shade, and it's uniform like that. All of these, all right, had less sun. You know, these things are just catch up. Look, they're all suffering a little bit. All of the coffees, you know, you'd say, all right, but it's all in the shade now, but it wasn't, because look at the height of this corn compared to the height of the corn that was out there. Those corns there are much wider, so that tells you that it's shaded much quicker. right? But it's cool. It is cool because we're going to get a second chance. All of them are resprouting. All of them are resprouting. From 2,000 coffee plants, if 5 are dead, that's too much. I mean, in this case here, I know that not even 5 of them have actually died. So they're resprouting, and second time round, they're going to be okay. Now they're going to be okay. All right, because now I can go 15 days no rain. Because yeah, we're backed up. We're fully backed up. And we've got a plan here for the drought. You know, we're raining, but we've got a plan here. We have a plan for the drought. There's no irrigation so far. The people that might decide that, you know, that he's going to go ahead and invest in irrigation, but at the moment we're doing a no irrigation. We're planning for no irrigation so far. Well, I've advised, you know, a system which we can go ahead with without the irrigation. So really, you know, the corns are going to feed back the soil, look after the coffee seedlings. Okay, the jack beans, okay, we're going to go ahead and give it a nice prune there. When? In May. Our drought here starts in June. So just before the drought, we prepare the area, you know, for the drought. How do we do that? Already the corn is going to be long gone, but then we're going to have the pigeon peas, you know. The pigeon peas is going to be occupying that, you know, this strata here with a lot of matter. So we're going to do all the heavy pruning in May, and we're going to cover that soil with the jack beans and the pigeon peas, right? We're going to cover the soil with a ring of organic matter around the seedling. But we do it in May, so we still have that last rain, and we're going to have that resprout of the jack beans and the pigeon peas. So we'll have an information similar to what it's like now, with organic matter already returned to the soil. So we've put in a little bit of sawdust there. We put more, but it's been raining and it's washed away. But we did put in initial organic matter down, but it's limited the amount we have for the amount of seedlings we're going to be planting. So we're counting on that just for the initial soil coverage, because you know, the next time round we already, you know, our service plants are going to be covering that for us. So we're covered for the mulching, you know, when the drought comes. And already you can see, you know, how the organic matter disappears very, very quickly. All right, it's practically, you know, it's very, very weak. Already we can see exposed soil down here, but it's shaded off already. So we put just enough, you know, for the first couple of weeks until we get that, you know, all those service plants working. This is a real big scar. This is something I'm really upset about. Not proud at all. How the tractor, the kind of scar it left. Do you understand? It was kind of a thing where, you know, you have to use the tractor that was available. It was a very big, heavy tractor. I would have loved to use a lighter machine, but you have to use what is available, because, you know, for this many holes, for this many seedling holes, we really had to do it mechanically with the tractor who came in and opened, you know, so many thousand holes. So, you know, so it's quite aggressive, and it has left a scar. We do have a plan. We're going to be harvesting all this brachiata and bringing it to the ditch, harvesting the brachiata and bringing it to the ditch. But since this brachiata is not, it's very, very weak, you can tell it's very, very poor soils. We're obviously not going to go and manure this brachiata. It's, you know, it's not feasible. So what I want to do now is give it a cut and use all the brachiata that is available. I'm going to feed it back to the system, to the brachiata. So I'm going to first give more nutrition to the brachiata using the brachiata. All right, so we're going to cut it all down and feed it back to the spot. We're not going to move it, so that the second time the brachiata grows, we're now here in January. So if we cut this until February, we have March, April, May, and now we're going to have a better cut, so that in that May organization, in May, when we do that pruning, prepare for the drought, we can, you know, sweep all this brachiata to the ditch. All right, and then we can start, you know, bringing that organic matter to the ditch. We know how important that is, because when the roots of these trees start, you know, wanting to travel, you know, we don't want to create the islands. You know about that. So when we have these islands, you know, because it's all fluffy here, but it's compacted where the tractor stepped on. So, you know, the roots is going to be, you know, thriving here, but it's going to hit the wall and it's not going to travel. It's not going to pass, right? So we need to get this organic matter here, so that, you know, we start decomposing, you know, and decompacting these corridors. The roots will slowly, you know. But the important thing is from now on, it's already happened, so from now on we need to have a process where we don't keep on compacting. So when we do walk here, we're walking on top of organic matter so that these roots can eventually break through, and you know, we can you know, reverse this. It will take a year or two, certainly at least, to reverse the damage that was done here. But we are planting a lot of avocados and macadamia and you know, eucalyptus and things that haven't been introduced yet. The boys are still planting down there the bananas and the last papayas, so we're still planting this system here. We still haven't finished planting it throughout the 2 hectares. We're about, you know, 85%, almost finished that. And yeah, great, isn't it? So we're gonna have, yeah, the eucalyptus and cassavas in between each one of these. So literally eucalyptus every 75 centimeters. The eucalyptus will produce the matter to cover this ditch in the 2nd year. So, you know, it might take a little while, but we will fix the problem. All right. So for now, we're thinking, you know, cutting the backyard and bringing it in, and considering in years to come, next year or the one after that, introducing triple lines of coffees here when everything's shaded off, and you know, make it a real dense, you know, coffee production. So yeah, so if you dig this system, this is an update. It's an update. I love it. I'm quite proud of what it became when, you know, today we had Bruno's parents came down, you know, to get to know me and to see, you know, what I have to say, and they got their questions and to understand. And these guys, they've owned this farm for over 30 years, and it's like all they can say is that they've never, you know, nothing's ever gone well here, and not even chickens, and you know, everything's always been a disaster. So I'm so glad they're gonna see how productive it is already. They're harvesting lettuce. You see, in the first video I showed you guys how we planted these mavukas, because there's in other areas. If I switch again, towards the end there's a forest, and where there's going to be how do you call it, you know, just fruit trees for the family, orchid, an orchid, you know, fruit orchid for the family near where they're constructing the houses. Over there, it's not a systemized for production, it's more for the family. So a lot of variety, different to up here, a lot of variety. And since we've done the same things, like over there we planted, you know, all the service plants around the tree seedlings, the fruit tree seedlings. But over there we didn't use necessarily nitrogen fixing stuff, and you know, we used more veg. So we've got the pumpkins coming over, we've got the aubergines, we've got the lettuce, the rockets. Yeah, so today they will come down here. We went down there to see, and already we're harvesting. So these guys are like, wow, we're walking around, they're picking up lettuce from the ground and we're eating it, no pesticide, nothing. So already we're showing you know, the families come over and they're smiling already, you know. And it's worked, you know, double. It's a service plant, you know, it's kept the black adder from not invading the seedling. It's helped in certain cases, you know, ants and that has rather eaten some of that veg rather than going attacking the seedling as well. So it's protecting the seedling in that way as well. And everyone was smiling, going home with the first ever harvest after 30 years. That's quite impressive. I mean, it's a wake-up call. All right, so guys, so from the Agroforestry Academy crew, be in touch, comment. I appreciate that the ditch, the tractor is a big scar. I'm upset about that. So we'll be always working and learning of better ways of doing this, okay? But we have to understand we only have 2-man workforce. You know, I'm going to put in the description, you know, how many seedlings are down here. I haven't got it all by head, but it's thousands and thousands. So, you know, for 2-man to do this, they've been, you know, it's been about 45 days since they started planting the first seedlings to now, and they've got a whole 2-hectare system set up, you know, and we really want to get everything planted still in January, because then we still got a nice bit of rain, all right, so that we go into the drought with everything, you know, with enough, you know, roots already established and things like that, and that service plants already grown and created that matter to face the drought. All right, so till next time we're, like we say in Brazil, we're together. All right, anything you need, just reach out for us. Cool. Oh yeah, and do check out the Patreon. You know, if you really want to reach out, if you really want a little bit extra on the video, you know, we're always giving extra things to the Patreon with, you know, we do the webinars, and you know, bonuses, just bonuses. And it really is, if you can support us, it's only $7.90. It's only $7.90, you know, and we can appreciate that in, you know, the dollar is a dollar in Brazil, the dollar's in India, the dollar, and you know, the dollar can represent, you know, a bigger figure in many parts of the world. So for those people that need this help, you know, if you can support the channel, so we can keep bringing in free information to others that sometimes they can't support, you know, but that's okay, because if you can, with a $7.90, you keep us bringing information, and we're helping people that can't even, you know, sometimes you'd like to, but I can appreciate, you know, $7 might sound like a $70 thing where you come from. So don't worry about it, man. But if you can support the channel, you keep us bringing information, and we're helping people all around the world. We hope to do that still. All right, nice one. Till next time.